So what would you suggest we do with, like, say, the book of Isaiah or the book of Revelation? So we've got a lot of people who spend a lot of time analyzing those and...
Yes, we become, many of these books got established because there is a deep fear in humanity that if they do not connect to God, that somehow they'll be punished for the lack of connection. And therefore they've constructed these ideas that there is a day of reckoning, an actual physical day of reckoning that will occur on the planet. And therefore they become very afraid of the physical potential of a day of reckoning. As a result of that, there is this feeling that develops within them that they become obsessed with what is called prophecy. Now, the reality is that many of these prophecies have never come true and will never come true. And this sort of, in a way, establishes these prophecies as being false. Now, however, almost every book that has been written by a prophet has information in it about love. And this is what we need to focus on. So when I read the book of Jeremiah or the book of Isaiah or the book of Ezekiel or the book of Revelation, I'm focused on what can this tell me about love. And was my focus also in the first century. The book of Isaiah and Jeremiah were very important to me because there were certain verses in those books that refer to the heart of man being like a heart of a stone. And God wants us to soften our heart so our heart can become a heart of flesh, a heart that feels. And when I read those verses, I go, this is telling me mankind generally is very shut down to their own emotions. They're very shut down to love. They're very shut down to the way they love. If you look at many of the prophecies in these books, they all refer to how mankind has treated other persons on the planet. And I then look at that and I go, yes, this is a great illustration of at some point we have to change the way in which we interact with each other. We have to become more loving with each other. And these prophecies, which are very good prophecies, many of them, all talk about ushering in this time of peace. And I go, okay, how is this time of peace going to occur? And, I've been referred to as the Prince of Peace, but how, in the end, is that going to even occur? This was my questioning in the first century. And the way it's going to occur is for firstly one person, and then eventually many people, and then eventually every person who lives on this planet engaging a process of softening their heart to love and becoming more loving in their interactions with everyone around them. And the way they do that is they can connect to God because God can help our heart soften. And all of these prophetic books refer to these particular events. So when I see in the book of Revelation that God is making all things new, I go, okay, this is not by the force that the book claims, because I know God to be not a forceful God, but rather a God that engages our free will. But it is a very good truth because God does desire to make all things new. He wants to bring the kingdom that we see established and was established in the first century in the heavens, in the celestial spheres. He wants to bring this kingdom to earth. But the only way this kingdom is going to come to earth is by mankind, humankind, engaging the process on earth of becoming more loving. And so I see the underlying message of even these prophetic books as being a message of love rather than a message of pain and doom. However, unfortunately, the emotional condition of the writers interfered with much of this prophecy, the prophecy about love. And as a result of that, they have this good and bad mentality where if you're good, you'll be rewarded. If you're bad, you'll be punished. And while there are certain truths regarding what we sow, we reap, it's not because we're being punished, it's because we're just reaping the results of acting out of harmony with love. God has established a completely loving universe. Every time we act out of harmony with it, we will reap the results of the laws trying to correct us into becoming more loving. And every single prophetic book that has ever been written, and not only in the Bible, but they're in the Book of Mormon and many other books as well, in the Quran and other books, every one of them has this dualistic thing where you can have a look at it, and some of it pertains to love. So my suggestion to any religious person is take all the stuff that pertains to love and apply it to your heart. A lot of it pertains to punishment and fear. Take all the stuff that is pertaining to punishment and fear and discard it. And then ask yourself, why am I so attracted to punishment and fear? And if we look at, as a humanity, why we are so attracted to punishment and fear, we'll see this is very much about what we've been taught by our parents that love is. And usually most people have been taught that love involves a smack here and there, like a physical violence perpetrated against you. And then they project that particular belief on God. And God is better than the most loving person on the planet, not worse or the same as the average person on the planet. And we need to start applying that across all religions.
Thank you. That's very helpful.
Yeah.